obviously we have our duck here, whole duck. This is what you'll be looking at and using when we're in college. Classic points to be looking for quality wise for a duck: nice, moist flesh, no major bruising, good amount of fat. Don't forget it is a waterfowl, so we'll need that fat to keep warm whilst in the water. Like I say, no damage or bruising to the duck. Ideally you would like the neck, the heart, livers and the gizzard for products that you could possibly use. Neck we could use for us, we'd use it for our stocks. You could look at using the heart. Keep the hearts if you can get a hold of them fresh. You barbecue these down if you have a few together, or maybe put them in a duck salad, so like a charred heart going through it. Liver you can use for a liver parfait and the like. And the gizzards, again, braise the gizzards down as a sort of a classic French dish that you could utilise that. Again, like I say, no blemishes. Nice amount of flesh on the legs and the breast itself. Like I say, it's slightly different in shape to a chicken. Obviously the legs and the wings are a little bit on the longer side, so we've got to be aware of that. And quite sinewy as well, so when we're prepping them down, we've got to make sure that we do it correctly and make sure we get the best out of it as we can. And like I say, we've got our legs, and like I say, we just check the inside, check the cavity to make sure there's nothing in there. I'm having a look now, see there's nothing untoward in there. Just check through that. I'm happy with that. No missing bits of offal in there, no lungs or intestines attached anywhere. Just lift it on the other side, have a look at the back end, check around the neck area, because sometimes you do get a little bit of fat content around the neck area. Again, just trim off any excess you don't want. But like I say, we want a little bit of fat on there, but we don't want loads on there. Alright, so off with excess fat. But remember, with it, goose, duck, and sometimes pork, but definitely goose and duck, depending on the type of pork, you could use that fat for comfy fat, so you could render that down to get all the fat out of it and basically utilise it for other products as well. Alright, so nice and straightforward. The ducks here, simple as normally what we'll do with the chicken and any other fowl. We're going to break it down, breast off, and we're going to take the legs off as well as take the wishbone out and trim the wings up as well. Alright, so basically that's what we're looking at today. We're going to use the bones for the stock with the neck, and we'll see where we'll go with the rest of the offer. Alright, so like so. On its side, as you would always do, loosen it up a little bit, yeah, making sure that the joint muscles are nice and loose so you can get all the flesh off and make sure it's nice and neat. We want to keep a nice amount of fat, especially on the breast, because that's what's going to be giving it a maximum flavour. So like I say, work your finger in there just to loosen it up a little bit, and basically going to go through down the side of the rib cage. So you go down the side of the rib cage, then you use your your index finger and your middle finger, pop through on this side, pop out the knuckle like so. Has got an oyster to a certain degree, but nowhere near as big as the chickens. Then along the side of the carcass, like so. So that's one side, and then we'll go on the other side, exactly the same process. Loosen it, loosen that muscle. Make sure you get all that flesh out there and the joints nice and supple. And basically through again, down the side of the rib cage, then through that, pop out again using your thumb that time, then all the way down the side of the parson's nose, all the way down to the bottom, like so. Happy days. Now I'm going to take my breast down a little bit. I'm going to trim up there, take off that excess fat again. You can keep that fat, render it down. You're not wasting any of it, yeah? So for me, there's a little bit extra fat in there, so I'll take that off and put that there as well. Happy days. Parson's nose, as I've always said to most people, make sure you take your parson's nose off. It's quite strong in flavour and quite gamey, so I'm not really wanting that in my stocks. Alright, so for me, I wouldn't bother using that. That would just go as waste. The parson's nose. Especially if it was game, i.e. pheasant and the like, because basically they are quite pungent in flavour. Right, I'm going to take the wings off. And again, remember as I said, it is quite sinewy around the wing area. So take that off there, happy days. One, go down by by the back, so you can pop it out, feel where the knuckle joint is, and then up and over around the breast. There's the duck wings off. So what you got now classically would be classed as your crown. Okay, so there's your crown, beautiful breasts, 2 breasts either side. On the carcass you could actually brush that with a little oil, salt and pepper, score it and get that in the oven and roast it on the bone. That will be a nice way of cooking your duck whole on the crown. Alright, well obviously we're going to be taking it off and utilising it in a different way. Now I need to find my wishbone, which is basically the inside of the collarbone. So for me, like I say, scraping all the way down so I can get in there, not wasting any of it. Feel the bone now. Yeah, I get my finger just under it now. Yeah. So that was this. Then you can take that down to the bottom knuckle, which is still attached to the rib cage, and then basically work it away nice and evenly. It's a little tougher than the old chicken. There's a bit of duck, so don't be afraid if you think, oh blimey, this is quite tough. It is a bit tougher because obviously it's a duck. It has a little bit more use of its muscles around its breast, because obviously it has a more option to fly, whereas the chicken realistically doesn't really fly at the moment in its life. Put all the way down again. You can hear it going lovely. And I'm just going to check. So, still not quite there yet. I think I've got it now. Yeah, and basically that's it out. There's the wishbone out. Nice and whole, makes a change. There's the wishbone, job done. So for me, like I say, just give my hands a quick wash. Hands do get a little slippy at times. Wipe the knife down a little bit. Right, so there's my crown, as I said. Now I'm basically going to go down centre of the breast, all the way down to the bottom. Yeah, all the way down, happy days. Make sure I get all that sinew away from the carcass. Turn it round, makes life easier. Up to the top, fluidly against the breastbone, all the way around the rib cage. Nice and gently. Being careful not to damage the breast by hacking away at it. And then like so, off. Breast number 1, beautiful. The same on the other side. Again, just at the end of that tip. Up, back up the top. Same process. Fluid movement is needed. Down the rib cage. Yes. And when you get the knuckle area where the duck leg was, the duck wing was attached, just down. Beautiful. There, perfect. And like I say, then you've got the carcass here. What I want to do is look at that carcass. I want to trim all the excess fat off, because I'll use that, I'll render that fat down in me confying. Yep, so I'm not wasting it in any way, shape or form. There, so that excess fat will go in me confy. And also helps when I'm roasting my carcass off to make the stock for the braising liquor, not to sort of like have a greasy stock, because we're taking the excess fat off it. So there's. So now what I need to do is basically just break this down into a few sections.